Today we're going to be talking about something that I hold very close to myself. This is a word in Korean, actually, and I really dislike it. It makes me very uncomfortable, it makes me anxious, gets me nervous, and on multiple occasions, it's given me an existential crisis. This word is... There we go. Okay, that word is 우상향. So the word 우상향, it literally translates to moving to the right and up. It's just 3 characters, it's very benign, there's no emotion attached to it. But this word makes me feel very uncomfortable. If we visualize this word, it's literally just a straight line. It's what we're aiming to have in a lot of parts of our lives, in business, in investments, and it's what we really want to achieve with our personal growth, our careers, our bank accounts, our social media following. So why on earth does this simple word, 우상향, make me feel so uncomfortable? Why does it make me hate myself so much when it's just a line? The reality is because nobody's life actually looks like this 우상향 line. And I can tell you for a fact that mine certainly didn't. Back in 2019, I was working in a cushy job in finance over in Hong Kong. And at the time, I was hit with a bit of a shocker. I was essentially told I need to leave my role. I wasn't expecting that. Things were going smooth, things were going comfortably. And at that point, I had to make a decision. I could go into another job, I could go and continue my career in finance, or I could take this as a sign from the universe. It's time for me to take a risk. It's time for me to finally go out and chase my dreams. So in 2020, I decided to take a leap. I jumped across to Korea with no plans, just a bank account with a bit of savings and a dream to become a content creator. And 6 years later, somehow, we made it work. I've got 2 million followers on social media. I've appeared on Netflix, on some of Korea's top TV shows, and I can barely walk on the streets without getting recognized, thanks to my loving fans. I want to show you a graph. I don't know if you can see it too clearly, it's a bit thin line, but this is the graph of my subscribers over the past 6 years. And I know what you're thinking. This guy just spent 2 minutes talking about how nobody's life looks like this 우상향 curve, and he just showed us the most blatantly 우상향 line in the planet. What's this guy talking about? But that's exactly my point. When you're looking at people's lives from the outside, it's really easy to get caught up into it and just assume that everybody's always got things going great, things are going amazingly, they're just succeeding and growing, exponential growth, how amazing is it? But I want to show you another line. This line is my views over the past 6 years. And suddenly we can see a bit of a different story. We've got plenty of ups and plenty of downs, and I mean a lot of downs. And every time things go up, it's really exciting. I feel like I've finally solved the equation. I can just keep on making this piece of content for the rest of my life. People are going to love me. It's amazing. I'm going to be rich and famous, and I can just be happy for the rest of my life. How cool is that? But after every single up, you can see that things go down. People get bored. The views drop. Hell, even I get bored of making my own content. And when we get to that bottom point, something happens. We start feeling miserable. Not just in a professional sense, but on a personal level. Because when your identity is linked to your performance, it's really easy to get those two things combined. But there is one thing that's very important. You'll notice that the peaks eventually do happen as well. And before the peaks happen, something very important happens there as well. And it's taken me a very long time to realize it, but every time before a peak, I've never actually felt confident in myself. I've never felt happy, I've never felt like I could be successful. I felt desperate, I felt terrible, I've had low self-esteem. But one thing kept me going. It was a separate mindset, that is to just keep on moving and to keep on swerving. That took me to a realization. These drops in my journey weren't part of the problem. These drops themselves were the journey. And that's something I really want to emphasize, because when you're looking at other people's lives, it's really easy to see that curve that's going up, that 우상향 line. But in reality, the line that we're living is really up and down. Over the past 6 years, I've had to reinvent myself many times. I've ended up dressing as a woman, cracking terrible dad jokes. I've become somewhat of a professional chef. I've climbed mountains and almost died of dehydration while being attacked by love bugs. And most recently, I'm out on the streets giving gifts to random people. And all of this innovation, in the end, comes from that mindset that you can't give up, that you have to keep on going. But the thing is that every single version, as much as it works, it eventually drops again. So what do we do? Because life isn't going up and up and up. Eventually it goes down, and we need to figure it out. We can go through these stages, and I can tell you I certainly have. Depression, anxiety, self-loathing, burnout. Hell, I get burnt out once every 3 months. But there is something that we need to do. There's actually 2 things that I believe we can be doing. The first thing is, we need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And it's taken me a very long time to figure it out, but it's something that will push us through this life that has so many bumps, has so many ups and downs as well. In my case, I've had moments where I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just sitting around, lost, people aren't paying attention to me. But at that point, I decided to take the first option, which is to keep on moving, but also to swerve. Not to just sit around and do the same thing over and over, but to do something different. Just 7 months ago, it was Christmas, my views were flopping, no one was watching me, and I decided I'm going to try something new. I put on a Santa outfit, I went on the streets, and I gave gifts to random people. And you know what? It kind of worked. So I decided, let's do it again. Let's keep on doing it in normal clothing. And that worked too, and that worked too. And then in just a couple of months' time, I tripled my following on Instagram, and because of that, I've been able to work with some of the biggest brands in Korea. What an amazing experience. But you might be thinking, look, this guy is in a comfortable place. He's got the freedom to be able to swerve. But I can tell you a story as well, which came from a time of very much poverty. In 2022, I had been trying to become a content creator for a couple of years at the time. No money coming in. I was about to be broke to the point where I called my mom crying, "Mom, I want to eat cereal, but I don't have money for it. What do I do?" And then I was lucky enough to get a comment on my TikTok saying, "Bro, I bet you can't eat 4 eggs in 1 minute. Do it!" So I said, "Hey, come, EG! That's too easy. Let's do it." And that eventually exploded into a very big series that sent me through the roof. On the other hand, what can we do when we are grinding away? We're swerving, but things don't work. The other thing that we need to do is to take a rest. And I would argue that this is even more difficult than working hard and keep on swerving. Doing nothing is so difficult. So every couple of months, I'll go on a temple stay, I'll hand in my phone, I'll just completely disconnect from society. And during that time, I have a chance to reflect and to become myself again. And what happens after that is, I lose any negativity that I had beforehand, I'm reawakened as a new person, and it's amazing. So what is my moral of the story? Life is not an usanghang curve. It's up and down, it's up and down. And there's only 2 things that we really need to do. The first one is to keep on moving and to keep on swerving. Take leaps and believe in yourself, because eventually those peaks will come again. And the second one is to take a rest, because you're worth it and you need some time for yourself as well. Thank you so much.